The phone rang loudly in my living room, echoing across the wide walls of my ranch house. I had just come back from feeding the horses when I picked it up, expecting it to be a neighbor or maybe my sister. Instead, it was a voice I didn't recognize. A man's voice, cold and sharp. "Mr. Dawson," he asked. "Speaking," I said, wiping my hands on my jeans. "This is Attorney Richard Hayes. I represent Mrs. Karen Whitmore. She's requesting that you vacate your property within 30 days. Her son Daniel needs it urgently for his future family. You are not being given a choice. We are prepared to take legal action if necessary." I nearly dropped the phone. "Excuse me," I said, thinking I heard wrong. "You heard me. Mrs. Whitmore's son is getting married next month. They have decided that your ranch is best suited for them. They expect you to move out peacefully. Otherwise, we'll move to evict you." I stood there stunned, staring at the dusty boots by my door, trying to understand if this was some sick joke. "My property isn't even in an HOA," I said slowly. "I own this land outright. According to Mrs. Whitmore, the original deeds are being reviewed, and she claims the land falls under their association rights. You will be hearing from us officially soon," he snapped before hanging up. I stood there with the dial tone buzzing in my ear. That was when I noticed something even worse. Out the big window facing the pasture, I saw Karen Whitmore herself, a short woman with perfectly curled blonde hair, wearing a pink jogging suit, walking boldly onto my land with a clipboard in her hand. And right behind her, two men in suits surveying my barn like they already owned it. My heart raced. I dropped the phone on the couch and stormed outside. "What do you think you're doing, Karen?" I shouted across the yard. Karen gave me the fakest smile I had ever seen in my life, as if we were old friends catching up over coffee. "Just checking the property for future improvements, Mason," she sang out sweetly. "You'll be out soon enough. Best to make sure everything is ready for my Daniel." I was halfway across the yard when one of the men, a taller guy with a clipboard, started marking things down. The barn, the stables, even my old well that had been on the ranch since the 1800s. "Stop right there," I barked. "You're trespassing." Karen just chuckled and pointed to the edge of my driveway where she had propped up a shiny new sign. "Future home of Daniel Madison Whitmore." The nerve. The absolute nerve. Before I could even think about what to do next, the shorter of the two men pulled a rolled-up blueprint from a leather bag and unrolled it right on the hood of his car. A full design for tearing down my barn and building a brand new modern mansion. I could hardly breathe. My vision was going red. And just then, a pickup truck I didn't recognize came rumbling up the driveway. And out hopped Daniel himself, a young man with slicked back hair and a cocky grin, holding a sparkling engagement ring box in one hand. "Mason," he called out like we were buddies. "Appreciate you clearing out for me, man. Madison and I owe you big time." I froze in my tracks. I had never agreed to give up my land. I hadn't signed anything, and I sure as heck wasn't going anywhere. But Daniel was walking up to me now, hand outstretched like I was supposed to shake it and congratulate him. My hands balled into fists at my sides. I was about to tell him exactly where he could shove that ring box when Karen snapped her fingers loudly, and the two men in suits started walking toward my front door, looking like they were about to go inside without my permission. I sprinted toward the porch, heart pounding like a war drum, as Daniel and Karen shouted after me about new beginnings and building a family legacy. I didn't know it yet, but what happened next would set off a chain of events crazier than anything I had ever seen in my life. And it all started with the sound of my front door creaking open.